So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Lady Vanishes, 1938. This is going to be another Alfred Hitchcock thriller. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Although I'm not a big fan of Alfred Hitchcock's mystery thrillers involving spies, I usually give it 3 out of 5 stars because even his worst movies are halfway decent. The Master of Suspense. Okay. So he was, 1938 British mystery thriller film directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Margaret Lockwood and Michael Redgrave. Don't know who they are. I think Margaret Lockwood is a Joan Bennett lookalike with a British accent. Written by Sidney Gillett and Frank Lander. Based on the 1936 novel The Wheel Spins by Ethelina White. The film is about a beautiful English tourist. She's the Joan Bennett lookalike, traveling by train in continental Europe, who discovers that her elderly traveling companion seems to have disappeared from the train. After her fellow passengers deny ever having seen the elderly lady, the young woman is helped by a young musicologist, the two proceeding to search the train for clues to the old lady's disappearance. The Lady Vanishes was filmed at Gainsborough Studios in Islington, London. Hitchcock caught Hollywood's attention with the film and moved to Hollywood soon after its release. Although the director's 3 previous efforts had done poorly at the box office, The Lady Vanishes was widely successful and confirmed American producer David O. Selznick's belief that Hitchcock indeed had a future in Hollywood cinema. The British Film Institute ranked The Lady Vanishes the 35th best British film of the 20th century. Really? I think that's a bit overrated, but most of these lamestream colorized movies are overrated. In 2017, a poll of 150 actors, directors, writers, and producers and critics for Time Out magazine saw it ranked the 31st best film ever. It's one of Hitchcock's most renowned British films and the first of 3 versions of White's novel to date. I think he made one more British film, Jamaican Inn, which I have not seen, but I'm sure I have it in my Netflix queue or somewhere. After visiting the fictional country of Bandrika, English tourist Iris Henderson is returning home to get married, but an avalanche blocks the railway line. The stranded passengers are forced to spend the night at a hotel. In the same predicament are Charters and Caldecott, cricket enthusiasts, anxious to see the last days of the test match in Manchester, and Miss Froy, a governess and music teacher. Miss Froy listens to folk music in the street. He is strangled to death by an unseen murderer. Not sure what that has to do with the rest of the movie, and I wasn't much interested in this part of the movie anyway. That evening, Iris is bothered by a loud noise from a room above hers that is caused by Gilbert Redmond, an ethnomusicologist who plays the clarinet. Next morning at the railway station, Iris is hit on the head by a large planter dropped from above. Miss Froy helps her onto the train. Also on board are Charters and Caldecott, Gilbert, lawyer Eric Todhunter, and his mistress, who's passing herself off as Mrs. Todhunter. As a result of her injury, Iris faints. She comes to in a compartment with Miss Froy and several strangers. She joins Miss Froy in the dining car for tea. Soon after, they return to their compartment where Iris falls asleep. This is where it starts getting good. This is the part that I like, the middle part. When Iris wakes up, Miss Froy has vanished, and the other passengers deny having seen her. Todhunter pretends not to remember her to avoid drawing attention to his liaison with his mistress. Iris searches for Miss Froy with Gilbert's assistance. Brain surgeon Dr. Hart says Iris may be suffering from concussion-related hallucination. Fearing that any delay would make them miss a cricket match, Charters and Caldecott also claim not to remember Miss Froy. They're all liars! Todhunter's mistress admits to seeing Miss Froy, proving to everyone that she exists. Well, everybody except for Todhunter's mistress. At the first stop, Dr. Hart's patient, covered in bandages from tip to toe, is brought aboard on a stretcher. Madame Coomer, dressed exactly like Miss Froy, appears in her place, now scared that she'll be revealed. Todhunter's mistress says Madame Coomer was Miss Froy. Oh, now she's lying with the rest of them to cover up her sordid relationship with the other guy. All right. While continuing their search, Iris and Gilbert are attacked by a knife-wielding magician, Signor Dapo, who is in Iris's compartment. They suspect that Dr. Hart's patient has been replaced by Miss Froy. Dr. Hart tells his fellow conspirator, a British woman dressed as a nun, to drug Iris and Gilbert. Convinced they soon will be asleep, Hart admits to them that he is involved in the conspiracy. The false nun does not follow Hart's instructions out of loyalty to her fellow countrymen. Well, she's very patriotic. Gilbert and Iris escape. They free Miss Froy and they replace her with Madame Coomer. Everything happens so fast in the movie. I missed a lot of this. Anyway, when the train stops near the border, Dr. Hartz discovers the switch. He was part of the train diverted onto a branch line where soldiers wait. Gilbert and Iris inform their fellow passengers what is happening. A uniformed soldier boards and requests that they all accompany him. They knock him out and take his pistol after another soldier fires, wounding Charters in the hand. During the ensuing gunfight, Miss Freud tells Gilbert and Iris that she must get away and that she is actually a spy. This is where it starts going downhill again. Just in case, she gives them a message encoding it in a tune to deliver the Foreign Office in Whitehall, the same tune that the murdered street musician performed for her. Miss Freud then slips away into the forest. Todhunter attempts to surrender, waving a white handkerchief, and he is shot dead. Gilbert and Caldecott then commandeer the locomotive, but the knocked out soldier wakens up and threatens the rest of the guests. I don't know what happens after that because the knocked out soldier disappears. No explanation. The nun escapes through a side door and she changes the tracks, but she's shot in the leg. However, Caldecott and Gilbert manage to pull her up in the train before she's left behind. In London, Charters and Caldecott discover the test match has been canceled due to flooding. Seeing her fiancé for a distance, Iris jumps into a cab with Gilbert. He kisses her. They arrived at the Foreign Office, but in the waiting room, Gilbert realizes he cannot remember the vital tune. As they are led into the office, Gilbert and Iris then hear it. All right. The Lady Vanishes was named Best Picture of 1938 by the New York Times. In 1939, Hitchcock received the New York Film Critics Circle Award for Best Director, the only time Hitchcock received an award for his directing. Unbelievable. What a a tragedy. Holly Weird ignoring Hitchcock as an entertainment guy. Well, that's what movies are all about, entertainment. All right. I just couldn't believe that this granny character was a 007. That was far-fetched and hard to believe. The ending didn't make sense, like I said. I don't know why she said she was getting married. She told everybody she was getting married. Then she ends up marrying the musician guy. Okay. So I had problems with this movie. I don't like spy thrillers. They're calling it a mystery thriller film on Wikipedia. But then the Granny 007 character kind of makes it a spy thriller in my view. What do I know? All right. So I got a ton of comments. I think I got 17 comments on my Robo Vampire video. Things are starting to pick up on my channel. And the latest was from a character named Renee Hawkins. I don't know if this character will stick around like the other three guys, but cool. He told me to watch One Dark Night, which I added to my Netflix queue. I guess I won't go through my list. I'll just say I added one more to my Netflix queue, and we'll leave it at that. Because if I go through my list, it's going to extend the video another 5 minutes. I got 3 hours of sleep today, 1.5 hours yesterday. I saw Stephanie yesterday. She was working late. My first stop expectation for yesterday was 7:33. I couldn't even punch in until 8:25, and then I didn't get a van until 9:30. They didn't have enough vans. So I ended up working 7 hours. I panicked. I thought it was going to be too late to pick up my son. I wouldn't be able to get groceries and gas. I wouldn't be able to take a nappy poo. But somehow I did it. I got pulled over by a CHP on 92 for cutting into a lane on the freeway on ramp to 880, and then going into the diamond lane. So she gave me a ticket for the diamond lane thing, which is kind of a blessing because it's a non-moving violation. It doesn't affect my insurance premium. So when I get the notice in the mail, I think I'm just going to, hey, I got somebody in the chat room and a thumbs up already. I think I'm just going to call a lawyer because I got the legal protection through my valet parking job. All right. So I said happy Thanksgiving to Stephanie, but she just said thank you. And that was it. Nothing much going on there. But she pulled down her mask. Everybody in the warehouse is pulling down their mask now. They're sick and tired of wearing a mask all day long, which is a good thing. And so I got to see her nose is kind of protruded out a little bit. But I still think she's got a great eyes. And she puts tons, she cakes on the eyeliner right here. The green eyeliner. She knows that her eyes are her strong point, I think. That and another feature on her chest. Oh, it's 69mega.com. I should have known. The back. Oh, now I got 2 people in the chat room. All right. Well, I'm going to end this video before I get another chat from the spam bot here later.